Now, I'm about to say some very controversial stuff, and I don't want you leaving me any comments on YouTube. What I want you to do is to sit in your hot tub or bathtub or on a tub of gin or whatever and record. Give me a video of your reaction to the following controversial horse manure, and then I will post it on my Hot Tub Curmudgeon channel as a rebuttal to my craziness. So here it is. The other day, some guy in a rather disdainful tone of voice was saying that whatever enterprise he was engaged in was going to try and offer more than just Eurocentric history. And I thought, wait a minute. Eurocentric history, that's kind of a redundancy. Is there any other kind of history than Eurocentric? I don't think so. Now, there's two ways in which he might mean Eurocentric history. And the one is history about Europeans. Then the other way he might mean Eurocentric history is history as told by Europeans. Now, in that second category, history told by Europeans, let us say that history is a science, that we make an hypothesis about did the Vikings make it to Canada, the maritime provinces. So we have a hypothesis, so then we go dig in the dirt and we find crap that the Micmac Indians didn't leave and look an awful lot like stuff Vikings used to do. And then there's these things called Clovis arrowheads, a particular way of chipping flint or chipping obsidian that gives you a particular shape of arrowhead. And well, you know, from that we can make hypotheses about where people were and at what time periods. Well, but you see, that's a science that was invented by, developed by, practiced by, perfected by Europeans. So there may be indigenous historians who are digging in the dirt and coming up with stuff, but you know what? They're using a Eurocentric science to find history as a science developed by Europeans. So what the hell does that mean, something other than Eurocentric history? Now, let's go back to the first definition, which is history about Europeans. Well, okay, so don't the indigenous peoples have histories? I mean, didn't Crow, the blackbird, mate with Coyote, and that created the moon, and then the tears of the moon became human beings? Isn't that history? It's indigenous people. They tell their history of where they come from. Well, here's the problem with that. If you're going to give credibility to Crow mating with Coyote as being history, well, you know what? Then you got to give credibility to the Adam and Eve story, and that the world was created in 7 days, and that the first man was created from mud, and that the first woman was created from his rib, and that, you know, a few generations later, some guy herded up 2 of every species and put them in the ark, and all the interbreeding that had to occur from just 2 of each species. Here we have today's world. You know, you're going to have to buy that too. But here's the thing too, is that history is 3,000 years old. We can prove that it's 3,000 years old. That thing about the ark, you can find it on cuneiform tablets, you know, these little baked mud tablets with funny little angle marks in them that makes an alphabet. done by the Sumerians and the Akkadians. Well, I mean, they were telling that story too. So there you have a history that's 3,000 years old. Now, the Micmac, the Iroquois, the Natchez, the Cherokee, the Salish, the Tlingit, we don't know how old their myths are. And there's a lot of those quote-unquote histories that we're never going to know, because the Iroquois killed off all the Huron. The Aztecs killed all the Mayans. Before that, the Mayans killed off the Olmecs. So we're going to buy the Iroquois history of where they came from, you know, their story of what Coyote and Crow did to create human race. You know, we have no idea how old that story is because they didn't write it down. We got a story that's 3,000 years old, and I mean, we know that it's been told for 3,000 years. The story of the Iroquois, we don't know, could be 100, 200 years old from the time that the white man first came across it. And it was because the white man came across it that it was written down as a myth, not a history. So I say Eurocentric history is a redundancy. There's no such thing as any kind of history other than Eurocentric history. So folks, get your computer out, your phone out, do a recording and tell me how I am full of crap, because I'll just bet you the stuff I'm saying has your blood pressure just skyrocketing. I want to hear from you. I love you despite it. Bye.